Today we are going to talk about rehoming puppies and babies. How many people think it's okay to kill a puppy or a kitty? What about your friend or your mother or maybe another child? Most people would say that is bad and that it is wrong. What would happen if I decided to pull my dog's legs off and then leave him for dead on a table? People would be outraged. We are not allowed to harm our pets, and we would get into trouble if we did. People are fined a lot of money if they leave a puppy or a dog in a hot car with no windows open, or even if they move an eagle's nest. Would people consider it wrong if I killed my 5-year-old dog, but it would be okay to kill him when he was a puppy, just because he was too much work and he ruined my life for a year or so while I was potty training him and teaching him things, and would have to rearrange my life and then come home and let him out and feed him? Wouldn't most people, though, consider rehoming the puppy rather than killing it if they didn't want it? What if a stray animal came to someone's door and they didn't really care for animals anyways? Do you think, though, that most people would just kill it because it was an unexpected inconvenience? Or would they call someone to come get it? So where do we draw the line with people? Why are people treated so different than animals? I am sure most of you young people, and hopefully all of you, know that it is bad and wrong to kill people. Babies, toddlers, teenagers, and grandmas and grandpas too. It is wrong to kill people just because they have a disability or if they interfere with your life or your lifestyle. All people, no matter how old or how young, have a right to be alive until God allows them to die. Nobody has the right to kill them. They are made in God's image, whether they are 1 minute old or 100 years old. If God allows a baby to die before it is born, this is called a miscarriage. It happened naturally. It is still very sad, but it is not because somebody made the choice to murder their baby. There are wicked people who think they have a right to kill babies that are unwanted by the woman who should give birth to them. And those people try to mess with your brain and your emotions. They think by raging and yelling louder and louder that it makes what they say right and true. They think by telling you over and over and over again and louder each time that you will then believe them and accept their ignorant and wicked lies and ways. But no matter how loud someone shouts that 1 + 1 = 3, they are still wrong. They think that the more that they say that they have a right to kill, and that is basically what they are saying when they say that they are pro-choice, that it will make that foolishness true. When they say that they are pro-choice, they are saying that they are for baby killing if the mother doesn't want to be pregnant or doesn't want the baby. The term pro-choice sounds good. Who doesn't like having a choice? But please remember that when you hear this word choice, when it's talking about this issue, that it is a choice only for the older person, whether it's a teenager or an adult, who wants to make a selfish choice without considering someone who is smaller and weaker than they are. That sounds like bullying to me. Abortion is murdering an innocent human being, a little tiny human being that can't defend itself, that needs to be taken care of as it grows, just like a 2-year-old does, or a 5-year-old, or a puppy, or baby chicks. And even eggs of an eagle must be kept warm in the nest by a big eagle that needs to sit on them before they hatch out. Most babies and young ones cannot survive without the care of its parents or someone else. While even many 18-year-olds need help too. This world is a crazy place. People make lots of money from killing babies before they come out of their mothers. But others must pay huge fines if they smash an eagle's egg, even if it's an accident, before the baby bird comes out. That just really doesn't make sense now, does it? Some who consider an abortion, killing a baby that is, are scared and have been greatly hurt and maybe didn't even have a choice that there was a baby in them. And that's terrible. But that is still not a reason for anybody to kill an innocent baby. Just because they were hurt, they don't need to hurt somebody else. There are people in most states, if not all states, that would and can help. So if you hear of a friend or anyone who's pregnant and considering an abortion, considering killing the baby that's inside of them, please share this with them and we will try to help. Many women who consider abortion, that is, again, killing a baby, and many men who tell them to have an abortion are just selfish and even prideful. And we know from the Bible that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall, according to Proverbs 16:18. If somebody came to my home and beat me up and stole my things and even burned my house down, would this be a reason to kill my puppy just because I was unjustly hurt and I didn't have anywhere to live now? I could always take the puppy to the Humane Society or rehome it if I was too hurt or if I thought that I couldn't feed it or care for it as it needed. There are many people looking for puppies, and there are many more people who would be happy to give an unwanted baby a good home and lots of love and let them know that they really are wanted. No matter how the baby got in a person, don't you think that they could perhaps sacrifice maybe 9 months of their life to save a baby? People sacrifice for animals and try to save them and their habitats. They don't build things where they want to because of the animals or their habitat. They donate a lot of money to help animals in trouble. They feel compassion for a little kitten that was left out in the rain, maybe at the end of a driveway. And most are appalled to hear of someone that might throw a bag of newborn kittens with a rock into the lake. Although the person, they think what they're doing, they have a good reason because they don't need more cats on their farm. But when we think about it, it's still a very sad thing. Of course, there are heartless and evil people who just don't even care about animals. But most people do feel compassion for the helpless, and they try to help animals in need, especially the vulnerable baby animals. Consider how many people don't think twice about risking life and limb running back into a burning building just to save a child or even a pet. They're willing to risk their life for an animal. Most people, if they aren't pure evil, if they saw a baby on the side of the road, they would stop and save it. Their heart and their mind would feel compassion and they would want to help. They would probably be outraged and they would ask who could do such a thing and throw a baby out on the side of the road. They would take it to someone who could help find it a family and take care of it. Let's consider what many people do to justify killing babies, that is abortion. They change words so that what they are promoting is more palatable, and it confuses people. They make you think that it really isn't as bad as it is. They call a baby that is being formed in its mother's womb a clump of cells or tissue. Well, that's true. We're all a clump of cells. The ones saying this, though, are just an older clump of cells, and they're older because their lives were not snuffed out when they were younger. They call a baby a fetus instead of just a baby, so that we don't feel guilty by ending the baby's life. Or they say ending the pregnancy, which is really ending the baby's life because you kill the baby if you end the pregnancy. And they do this so that more people will go along with their evil schemes. The problem is, rather than calling the sin of abortion what it really is, biblically, which is murder and child sacrifice, they simply say that the person is terminating a pregnancy. Being pregnant, though, is not a disease to be treated or terminated. Terminating a pregnancy, that is, killing a baby, is not reproductive health care, as they call it. It is devising a plan to kill an innocent human being. Health care should help people, all people, and not kill them. Abortion is not a reproductive right for a woman. Abortion should not be an option when family planning. Again, it has nothing to do with health care, so don't let anyone fool you. What gets even worse today, now they want to allow parents to kill a baby who is on its way out or who has already come out of its mother. What is the logic of killing a baby that is being born or has already come out? At that point, if you didn't want it, couldn't you just give it to somebody else who did? Many people want to adopt. I know people who would gladly take a baby and give it a good life. And if you are in this position or somebody you know is in this position and they want to pursue a kinder option, please reach out to me and I can try to put them in touch with somebody that can help. If you had a plate of extra food and there was a starving person next to you, would you logically think that throwing it in the garbage is okay just because you're full or you don't want it? Or would it be more logical and kind to give your food to the starving person rather than putting it in the garbage? And that's really where those poor little babies end up, is in a garbage bag. Would it be any worse for you if you gave someone else the food? What would you lose in doing this? If you say, yes, I would lose something when we're talking about killing babies, like that maybe you would have to take a year off of school, or maybe you would need bigger clothes for a few months. Again, those are small things and when it comes to those compared to killing an innocent child. And there really aren't that long of a time that you would have to sacrifice and maybe suffer a little bit in your own eyes. And again, there are people that are willing to help. So losing a year of school is much less tragic than losing someone's life. The baby loses the opportunity to learn to walk and talk. They lose the opportunity to get a degree or to study anything that they would like to, or to travel and to enjoy things like a sunset. They lose the opportunity to smile and laugh. They lose the opportunity to bring someone else a lot of joy and to be a blessing to other people. You know, many people take their clothes and other things to a thrift store rather than just throwing them out when they don't need them or want them anymore. Their conscience tells them that it would be kind to do that instead of wasting perfectly good clothes and just throwing them out. So even though it takes a little bit of time and some gas, they take them to the thrift store, and they do that anyways. And typically afterwards, they feel pretty good about doing it. I think it is safe to say that most unwanted pregnancies and babies are not from rape. Like they claim a lot of times, that's the first thing they say. What if somebody's raped? Well, that happens, and that's very sad. But as we said before, it's not worth doing something evil to someone else just because evil was done to you. But in reality, when looking at how many abortions are performed every single day, the majority of them are not from somebody being raped. Most babies were made by the pro-choice of two people. So if you don't want to make a baby, don't do what needs to be done to make a baby. It's that simple. And you will save yourself from many possible and really very gross diseases too. I live on a farm, and if I don't want to get my socks dirty or wet, I will put on shoes or rubber boots. I choose to wear my rubber boots when I clean out the chicken coop because there is a high risk that if I don't, I would get chicken manure all over my socks. Only a selfish person would choose to kill a baby rather than to give it up for adoption. Yes, it may be a bit of a sacrifice, but maybe they should look at how others sacrificed for them, even if it was just carrying them for 9 months while their body got ready to live outside of the womb, just like the little bird does before it hatches out of the egg. And if they chose to have sex, then maybe they should take responsibility for their choices and their actions. Most of you young people couldn't survive today without your mom or dad or another adult taking care of you, feeding you, buying you clothes, paying for a house to live in, driving you where you needed to go, or providing a car for you. So with this crazy logic, then shouldn't they be able to abort you or kill you? That is, if they felt you were taking up too much of their time or their money. and you were ruining their plans for their life, since they had to think of you rather than just themselves, and they had to plan their life around you rather than just living how they wanted to live. These people who think this way do not value life, well, except their own, of course. And as the Bible says, they love death. For the one who finds me, and this is talking about wisdom, has found life and receives favor from the Lord. But the one who sins against me brings harm to himself. And all who hate me love death. God says to defend the cause of the poor and the fatherless, vindicate the oppressed and suffering, rescue the poor and needy, deliver them from the power of the wicked. Just like people who rehome puppies, babies are also better off rehomed or adopted out rather than killed. By not believing the wicked lies and speaking God's truth on this matter, this is how you can help defend the cause of not only the fatherless, but those whose mothers who don't want them either. This is how you can help rescue them and deliver them from the hands of the wicked. You can help show them God's love by speaking up for them because they can't talk, and by helping them once they are born. So, my dear young people, there is no such thing as pro-choice. There is either pro-life or pro-death. Those are the two choices. And consider what these words really mean. Either you are for the life of a baby and helping it to live, or you are for the death of the baby and killing it. Either way is pro-choice. You must choose. People have a choice, and the choice is yours. God is your judge, not friends, not teachers, not big mouth politicians or news people. And what those people say does not sound like what God has said. So who will you listen to? Please listen wisely when you hear these things in school or on TV or on social media. Don't be made a fool and don't go along with them. Even if it's a big crowd of people and it's all your friends, stand up for what is right and stand up for saving a baby's life rather than killing it. Be a voice for those who cannot yet speak, just like we try to help eagles that cannot yet fly.